Chapter 54:21. Coupled with the dual cultivation of the origin, once he breaks through, I am afraid that no one can stop him, neither the gods nor the true spirits will work. Jian Wushuang hesitated. Face the Lord of the universe, he dare not. The power of all things suppressed, I haven't tried it, if there is no danger, you can try it, but now. Seeing Jian Wushuang's hesitation, King Bai immediately left. He is going to try. That majestic existence has not moved, and that beam of light also erupted from his eyes. He wanted to pacify Jian Wushuang's worries. Arth! The White King roared, there were so many divine bodies, and he desperately transformed into the same size as the Master of the Universe, and walked over generously. The beam of light condensed here, and the White King's figure flashed, but when he reached the top, the beam of light still burst straight out. Come! Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth without hesitation, and rushed straight up. Fight! He bypassed the straight line and rose into the air. Seeing Jian Wushuang, King Bai nodded with hot eyes. The others looked at these two people, thinking they were crazy, but they quickly reacted. Stop them! The flesh of the Lord of the Universe. A piece of flesh and blood is enough for them to comprehend, let alone a complete flesh. Not only the master of Guiling Island and others, but Zhen Wuyang, Kai Shuai, and Tongtian also burst out. The quotient is not so strong. It is normal for the ultimate emperor to pursue different pursuits. His cosmic secrets are almost Mahayana, and it won't take long to break through. From the emperor to the Lord of the Universe, it is a qualitative change from space to time. The essence is different, and the difficulty of breaking through can be imagined. Especially master the ultimate way of destruction. Need to break up the complete space and reshape a piece of time. And space exists in every moment of time. The huge universe, as long as there is a breathing time, then a space is formed. This space is not an ordinary space, but the cosmic space that carries the world. The man from the Yuan Palace came up and saw that Shang was unmoved, and said, "Don't come up and take a look. Don't go, it's useless with me, fight with them." Shang shook his head. Sichu Nan said in surprise, "Don't help. How easy is it?" As soon as Shang's words fell, the body of the Lord of the Universe really began to change. The Guiling Island master, who ran faster than King Jian Wushuang White, was directly smashed to pieces by a palm. After reuniting, he never dared to step forward. King White sneered, "Idiot. If you want to accept this body, the first thing is to suppress it." Jian Wushuang's figure turned into a black hole, and the power of all things released made that physical body familiar and yearning. His divine action continued to shrink, and finally turned into a high position, and finally began to move. Charged towards Jian Wushuang. This is the so-called suppression. Jian Wushuang's desire to die was gone. This is obviously using him as bait. Attract the other person to him. The power of all things is also a rare and precious source in ancient times. It requires countless types of source cohesion, and it must be the ultimate source. It's like the origin of all things. It's just the origin of 10,000 ways, and the 10,000 ways included are very common. The condensed power of all things has impurities. Only when the ultimate ways are gathered together can the pure power of all things in Jian Wushuang's body be condensed. That is, not in the ancient times, otherwise Jian Wushuang would have to be offered as an ancestor. The massive power of all things in the black hole spilled out into the flesh of the Lord of the Universe. I originally thought that I was very strong, but after I kept importing, I found that I couldn't stop at all, and the effect was very weak. There is no way that the other party is the Lord of the Universe. It is too difficult to awaken this physical body. He is just a daoist, so there is so much power of all things to awaken a Lord of the Universe. King White did not dare to delay, and directly abandoned the flesh, and the illusory shadow of the divine body rushed into the flesh of the Lord of the Universe. As soon as I entered, I was shocked by my self-protective consciousness. Obviously the physical body has not yet awakened. Wait! Jian Wushuang shouted angrily, frowning. This time, he gave his life to help King White. After the matter was done, it wouldn't be too much to knock him a few times. Jian Wushuang once again condensed the massive power of all things, fully digested 90% of his body's origin, and plunged into the body of the Lord of the Universe. King White once again held his breath and moved forward. But this time, Zhen Wuyang and others came over. Qingmang, Zishan, and Lanyu stopped them. The Shang in the distance started doing it this time. At first, he didn't help because he had to fight for it by chance. Now he helped because someone blocked Zhen Wuyang and the others. Not only him, but Sichu Nan from the Yuan Palace also did it. Arrogant. The three elders resisted desperately, and they were able to stop the three inheritors alone, but the strength of Shang and Sichu Nan were not weak. Jian Wushuang didn't care much about these things, and said loudly, "Go in, they can't hold it for too long." The White King below is also a decisive generation, and the phantom of the divine body begins to merge with the flesh of the Lord of the Universe. There was this gap in the body's awakening, and the White King just saw the stitches, taking advantage of the vacancy. After gathering into the flesh, Jian Wushuang stopped directly. As soon as the eyes of the flesh body opened, they slowly closed again. "I really want to wake up, they all have to die." Yakenangshu. "Come call." Jian Wushuang's breath dropped suddenly, and he was extremely weak. With a few Tier 5D monarchs, he quickly retreated back to recover his strength. When regaining his origin, he frowned and found that Gong Miaoyi was missing. After scanning around, he discovered that the other party had already mixed up with the prince of the Moluo kingdom, Rosha. Damn it! He knew that Gong Miaoyi was not simple. There was the ultimate source in his body. How could he be controlled? There was still blood Luo Jing on the opponent, a treasure that could unlock the ruins, which should not be underestimated. It can't be said to be useful later, and now he ran away. There is this and that small seal on the Senate Palace, and the blood-falling crystal can be regarded as falling on the side of the Guiling Island Lord. Now the three elders of Kaimen have been besieged again, and the situation is not good. Once these three elders can't stand it, they will face the danger of being purged. Nothing is worthless, and keeping them would threaten them. Monarch White is still merging with his body, and he can't help at all. His strength is too weak, and he can't go up rashly. Those who are participating in the battle are all Tier 6 combat power, and he is also looking for death when he goes. How to do? Jian Wushuang glanced at Guiling Island Master and the others. They were so hurt by the body of the Lord of the Universe that they did not dare to go again. It happened to see Zhen Wuyang and Qing Mang and the others fighting each other, and they were also happily sitting on the mountain and watching the tiger fight. Jian Wushuang whispered quietly, "Island owner, the rabbit is dead and the fox is sad. You don't understand, Gong Miaoyi, I let you, but if we wait for the other party to liquidate us, you don't want to be alone." The Guiling Island Master, who was sitting cross-legged in the distance, was taken aback for a moment, then turned to look at Jian Wushuang. The fighting power of the Fifth Order Emperor, he noticed before he came in, and then released the strange power to help the White King enter the body of the Universe Lord. He also saw it. Chapter 54:22. Boy, don't talk nonsense. I won't do anything without showing sincerity. Turtle Spirit Island Master sneered, still too young to agitate him. He has lived for countless epochs. How could he be used by a little boy? Jian Wushuang was unwilling to say, "There is only one physical body. I can't promise you. As long as you can help me through the difficulties this time, we can form an alliance. Don't talk about empty words." The owner of Turtle Spirit Island shook his head impatiently. But Jian Wushuang really failed to show his sincerity. Can't kill Gong Miaoyi now. Even if it was killed, Shui Luojing fell into the opponent's hands, which actually made the opponent cheaper. Jian Wushuang was a little anxious. Qing Mang and the others couldn't stop them for too long, they had already been injured. Being able to quickly defeat Qing Mang and the others, the Guiling Island owner and the others were shocked, but if they really helped, not only would they not get anything, but they would offend the inheritors. Even if they are not guilty now, they will fight for treasure later, and if they meet again, they will still fight. As Jian Wushuang said, it is better to form an alliance. But not reconciled. The owner of Turtle Spirit Island was also very entangled, and proactively rumors, "Boy, as long as you can guarantee that the body is half of us, I will take someone out. Island Lord, I can only guarantee that 10% is yours, and there is nothing I can do about it." Jian Wushuang sneered in his heart, and the other party was still fooled. If his words can be believed, they won't provoke so many enemies. The owner of Guiling Island frowned first, but he heard that only 10% of him was heard, which means that he himself could get 10%, and the others didn't count. He was a little tempted. Turning his head to look at these people beside him, he couldn't help frowning. What about this group of people? Do not care. Qingmang and the others are about to fall, and if they don't make a move, this Chengdu is gone. When the time comes, the inheritor will succeed, and they will have no chance at all. Everyone, it's time to move your hands and feet. These people have fallen. We are the one to fall next time. It's better to form an alliance with them and get the body of the Lord of the Universe. Everyone can learn about it. This is what I strive for you. You can consider it. The Guiling Island master suddenly became righteous and awe-inspiring. Emperor Tianshan couldn't believe it. This old Wangba actually had this kind of consciousness. He also felt that he wanted to make a move early in the morning, and he knew the truth about the sadness of the rabbit and the fox. The strength of the Qingmang people is not weak, these people have fallen, and disputes will arise when the time comes, and it is them who die. Do it, hold them. Seeing no one refuted, the master of Guiling Island took the lead in doing it. But my heart sneered at how stupid these people were. This is also the reason why Jian Wushuang didn't find anyone else. As long as a little bit of benefit is thrown, they can all be shot. As for Cheng's physical body, it was a big deal to wait for King White to merge and cut a piece of meat for the opponent. When the time comes, the strength of King White will skyrocket. It's just that these people are still useful, it doesn't hurt to give it. You stinky fish, rotten shrimp, dare to block this seat. The body turned into a colorful Kaishui walker, and blasted the Tianshan's body with a punch. The towering toad, its body was swelling, and then it made a sound that shook the sky. Quack. Puff. Zhen Huayang's majestic face, with a punch, the world was dimmed. It was just fine, with the help of Shong and Sichu Nan, it was easy to defeat Qingmang and others, but after the Guiling Island master joined the war, it was not so easy. In particular, there are still countless bones around now, and every time they attack, they have to calculate carefully and can't attack those bones. Had it not been for the physical body of the Lord of the Universe, the skeletal army would have rushed over. Zhen Wuyang looked at these people and yelled, "You idiots, what benefit did the other party give you? Thanks Tusk, even if it's not good, I won't let you inheritors take it away. This is the relic of our realm powerhouse, so I will give you everything." This stinged the hearts of the Yuan Larogong and others. Stopped for a while. Tongtian Buddha was anxious, turned his head to look at Sichu Nan and said, "Sichu, what are you doing?" The body of the Lord of the Universe erupted with a powerful aura of origin, which was refined by Jian Wushuang, which also represented the success of King Bai. Ha ha. The frantic laughter shocked everyone. King Bai's eyes were cold, and he slowly stood up. "You guys." Jian Wushuang felt a bit of a bad feeling, and he slowly got up and began to back away. The origin was refined by him. He knew King White better than anyone else. The laughter just now didn't sound like King White's voice. "Damn it," King White said again, uttering the last few words, and then began to do it. Boom. The indiscriminate attack directly killed Qingmang and Lanyu. Zishan was seriously injured and hid at the end to assist, and escaped. Shong also felt a bit of a bad feeling, and shouted, "Go back." Then the figure was directly in front of Lin Zhen Wuyang and the others. Destroy. A black lotus was in full bloom, and a breath of terror that swept the entire battlefield boiled. Shong turned his head to look at the others, and said anxiously, "Hurry up, get out of here, my law body will be broken for you." Then he said, "Sichu Nan, don't forget your duty, and protect them from here. Relax." Sichu Nan directly grabbed Zhen Wuyang and the others and bypassed King Bai. The master of Guiling Island was stunned for a moment, and wanted to ask Jian Wushuang what's going on and why he wanted to kill his own people, but turned his head to see that there was Jian Wushuang's shadow, and he had already run away. While running, he still didn't pull a few elders and the elders of Zishan. Jian Wushuang has the power of everything and can restore their combat power. He alone has no ability to survive here. Facing the Black Lotus, King White was a little surprised, and said in surprise, The secret of the universe is still created by its own creation, which is a bit interesting. Wow! The black lotus was in full bloom, Shang stood on it, and the breath rose directly to the highest level. Ask. Shang was calm, knowing that he was not an opponent, but he was just a law body, and it was no big deal to fall. This time it was not in vain, and he was able to meet a master of the universe. At this time, the White King is no longer leading the White King. Jian Wushuang was fooled. He and King Bai were both beaten by the gods. Refining the source and searching for the flesh are all pretenses, everything is to revive the Lord of the universe before him. Jian Wushuang was calculated, and now fled in embarrassment. But King White has fallen, and this time he has fallen completely. Remember the name of this seat, Firego, you are qualified to know who killed you. Firego urged a trace of origin, and the whole person was a little intoxicated. This source, as Froza told him, was very powerful, but it was not as powerful as before, but it was enough. It was enough for him to recover again. Dear, click in, give a good comment, the higher the score, the faster the update. It is said that the new full marks are found at the end of The Beautiful Wife. The new revision and upgrade address of the mobile station, data and bookmarks are synchronized with the computer station, and fresh reading without ad. Chapter 54:23. Shang Ting stepped on the black lotus, his cold eyes gleamed. No matter who you are, I will do my best in this battle today. It is good. No one knows what happened in this battle, but the image of a lotus flower is always printed in this space. It can be seen from a long distance. The power of destruction destroyed everything. The space-time Long Hanoi far outside the Temple of Chishan. Shang Yidao resulted in a desolate beast of the highest level, and obtained a huge fruit. This is a treasure that the desolate beast has guarded for countless epochs. He smashed the fruit in one hand, the force of destruction engulfed the power of the fruit into his body, and he became stronger again. For ego, ancient creatures, kind of interesting. Then he took out a piece of jade slip and said, Master True Spirit, I want to return to the 4 secret realms. His deity wants to try it himself. The Dharma body was not good enough just now. This long river of time and space, he has been crisscrossing for thousands of years, it is meaningless at all. The desolate beast that was just beheaded was already the strongest creature in this time-space Long Hanoi, and it felt that it was not as powerful as the Qinglong Palace Master. He played against the masters of the 4 main halls. Now that Fuego has appeared, he has rekindled the vast power of destruction, and may be able to help him break through. The boundary, the West Sea and the interior. Jian Wushuang had already brought people to the edge of the battlefield. For some reason, it was also very wide, but the corpses did not dare to come. What the is going on? Elder Zishan looked at Jian Wushuang in confusion. Obviously feel that Jian Wushuang knows. Jian Wushuang shook his head and said, We are calculated. Is it King White? At this time, Elder Zishan still did not dare to say that the gods were calculating them. This brainwashing is too serious. Yes, it's him, he calculated us. Jian Wushuang laughed in his heart, but nodded on his face. Only in this way can Elder Zishan continue to listen to him. He didn't dare to speak ill of the gods, otherwise he would have to be destroyed by the Elder Zishan first if he would not be killed by the Lord of the Universe. Elder Zishan was full of anger and cursed King Bai. Cool. Jian Wushuang turned his head to look at the battlefield, but his heart was very uncomfortable. This feeling of being calculated is very uncomfortable. He still remembered that the gaze that King White had prayed to him had completely fallen. Zishan, since King Bai has rebelled, you will tell me in the future. We have to continue to do things the Lord God explained. Jian Wushuang also began to fool Elder Zishan as a pawn. No way, in this place, every 6th Order Emperor is a backer, and it is difficult to move every inch. There was chaos on the battlefield, and it was impossible to get out. Elder Zishan groaned for a moment, and said, Don't worry, the young master, Lord God has confessed that no matter what happens, you must listen to the orders of the young master and the White King. Now the White King has rebelled and naturally follows the young master. Okay. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up, and then he said, Don't worry, I'm here to seek some treasures for Lord God. Except for those treasures, all other treasures belong to Elder Zishan. After taking Zishan, Zhen Wushuang also breathed a sigh of relief. Now there is such a Tier 6 top emperor next to him, and the few Tier 5 peak emperors who are still alive are useless and can be used as a shield. The most critical thing at the moment is how to leave or enter the depths of this ruin. Boom! A burst of light flashed and appeared in the front. Zhen Wushuang paused, a little hesitant. The place was so quiet that the corpse did not dare to invade. He was uncertain whether or not to go in for a while. Just when he hesitated, Zhen Wuyang and others had already escaped from the battlefield and rushed toward the depths of the light, without any taboo. After gritting his teeth, Zhen Wushuang followed with others. Now he is not afraid of these people, but he is afraid that there is no living person around him. The big deal is to reveal his identity, just as the White King has fallen, and he can be completely whitewashed. Follow Zhen Wuyang and return to the Tomb Mountain in an open and honest manner. Go. Bringing the elders of Zishan and several emperors, followed Zhen Wuyang and the others. And behind them, they followed the Guiling Island Master and others. In the battlefield, a more powerful might erupted, and it was obvious that Shang had encountered the Lord of the Universe. According to Shang's combat power, even if he uses the cosmic secret method, he is by no means an opponent, and it will delay for a while at most. Although Zhen Wushuang didn't know much, he also knew what the Lord of the Universe meant. It was an extremely dazzling existence in the ancient times, and it was not something the Emperor could resist. The cultivators who are still alive now almost all left the battlefield and rushed towards the quiet mountain. Silent Hill. The source of light. Zhen Wuyang and others have been here long ago. Seeing these people still standing there, Zhen Wushuang was a little confused. This is not Zhen Wuyang's style. According to the past, these people have already rushed to meet opportunities. It is impossible to be so calm. Zhen Wushuang did not dare to move forward for fear of danger. Staring into the light, Zhen Wushuang saw two figures clearly. One man and one woman. It is Huiqing and Jiang Shong. Why is he here? Zhen Wushuang was surprised. Obviously there weren't these two when he came. How did it appear? Could it be that the real spirit opened the back door, let them in? It's not impossible that there is a precedent in Primordial Star, in the presence of so many testers, descending inheritance. It shouldn't be difficult if Huiqing is allowed to open another small hole. Sure enough, the Tianjiao who was chosen is different. Had it not been for King Bai, he would have been no worse than Hui. Look at it now, all in a panic. He didn't even have the face to say that he was the inheritor. He was played around by the gods. He first refined the origin for the White King, and then ran here, and finally made a wedding dress for others. An ancient creature was resurrected, and King White also fell. What is this called? They are all extremely intelligent people, and they are finally fooled by a dragon who sees the head and misses the end. If he hadn't run fast, he might have been looted again. The other party was able to quietly kill King Bai and robbed of the origin, and it is estimated that he also knew something about him. The infinite power of everything in the body. It's simply a treasure of mobile. The bald head monk inside seems to be in harmony. The elder Zishan looked for a while and found that things were a little weird, and then said, "How can there be a reptile like Dao Jun here? It is still in harmony." Zhen Wushuang didn't listen to it, but he couldn't say anything. But the word Herdao is even more harsh, and Huiqing is actually in harmony. The little novice who was holding his thigh at the time was all in harmony. But it's not too surprising. It's time to join the Dao in the first step, and now that the realm is complete. If it succeeds, it is the ultimate emperor, and the ultimate emperor with 1 step and 5 steps. I am afraid that the combat power is not weaker than the 6th order emperor. Chapter 54-24. Immeasurable Buddha was able to suppress the 5th order emperor when he was a 4th order emperor, and when Huiqing combined Dao succeeded, he was the ultimate emperor. For the 5th order ultimate emperor, it was not a problem to fight against the 6th order emperor. Zhen Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief when the master of Guiling Island and others arrived in the distance, seeing that the Prince of Moluo was still alive. There must be a big chance here. Let me go in, simple. Rough. Go up and do it. But before they rushed in, Sichu Nan and Tongtian Buddha stopped them. Tongtian Buddha sneered and shouted angrily, "Who dares to step forward?" Sichu Nan's breath is also rising. Although the Shong is no longer there, the combat power of these people should not be underestimated. It is really impossible for the Turtle Spirit Island Master to get in. When necessary, Zhen Wuyang and Kaishui Xingzhe also shot. They are all inheritors. Everyone, it's too overbearing. For the sake of a little guy, you have to give up the opportunity. The owner of Turtle Island hasn't discovered that the person among them is related to the inheritor. I feel that these inheritors are crazy, so they don't want to grab the chance and watch others put it on the same path. Sichu Nan replied coldly, Guilin Island Lord, this person is the inheritor of the Tomb Mountain, and he is only a Taoist lord. If anyone dares to destroy his chance, the Tomb Mountain, the Senate Palace, and the temple will not let you go. You have to think about it. Standing in place, the master of Guilin Island looked ugly and frowned. This is not to scare him. He was really a little scared. He didn't expect these people to come in with Dao Jun, so that such a great opportunity would be given to a Dao Jun, which is very outrageous. With many disciples and others around him, the owner of Guilin Island was not afraid of losing face, and said indifferently, since he is Dao Jun, then forget it. What is good about Dao Jun's inheritance? I have to see if he can break through. Goodness. Tongtian Buddha breathed a sigh of relief. Hui Qing is in harmony. This is a huge thing. For a Taoist monarch, harmony is a major event that crosses life and even space. Let alone fighting, even if a wave of anger swept over, it might break the way of heaven. Therefore, it is best to fight without fighting. It really delays Hui Qing's harmony, and no one can bear it. This is the Tomb Mountain, the ultimate way of the gods who can be ranked in the top 3. And it is to cultivate the ultimate way to the level of consummation. You must know the ultimate way of cultivation to reach consummation. The difficulty is huge. Once successful, it will be more than one level stronger than those who are not consummation. On the Tomb God Mountain, most of the ultimate princes are on the 7th floor, a few are on the 8th floor, and only a few people on the 9th floor are consummated. The ultimate Daoist who can finally unite in a perfect posture does not have the number of hands. This is the most elite seedling on the Tomb God Mountain, even more important than these emperors. Although a little unconvinced, no one dared to say anything. After the Guilin Island Lord retreated, he felt a little unhappy. Although he had not lost much this time, he did not find a single treasure. Turning his eyes, he turned to Jian Wushuang. Nowadays, the strength of the tripartite, the biggest loss is actually the Kaimen and the Senate Palace. A Dharma body of Shong is comparable to all of them. As for Kaimen, not only did he lose a pinnacle emperor and a top 6th tier, more importantly, the White Emperor was gone. Jian Wushuang still thought at the beginning, waiting for King Bai to return to the peak and sweep everything, the treasures here are all his. Now not only the plan has fallen, but he has become the weakest party. There was only one tier 6 top emperor around, and the other tier 5 peak emperors had no effect at all. On the other hand, there are 3 6th order emperors who have lost Shong's law body on the side of the Elder Palace. Each of them is the peak, not the peak, but the half-hanging 6th order peak emperor who can hang on the 4 secret realms. Sichu Nan is the only one, no one is his opponent. Zhen Wuyang, Kaishui Walker, and Tongtian Buddha can also be comparable to the 6th order peak combat power. This time, the Yuanlaro Palace has the 6th largest power, and the other 5th order emperors don't count. There are also 7 or 8 6th order emperors on Guilin Island Master, among them there are 3 at the peak level, and the remaining weak are also the 6th level tops. The remaining 5th order emperors are not as good as Jian Wushuang's side. But these are not important. Now the Guilin Island Lord is looking at him. This time I am afraid he is not so easy to talk. Island Lord. Jian Wushuang was very respectful. Now I have to bow my head. No one is protecting him, he may fall here at any time. The master of Guilin Island didn't change his face, and said in a low voice, let's talk about it, what happened just now. Sichu Nan and Zhen Wuyang also looked over, obviously wanting to inquire about what has just happened. It's about the Lord of the Universe. There was no time to ask when he just ran away. Now that he has stopped, there is no danger. Naturally, he has to ask. Jian Wushuang pondered for a moment, knowing that if he didn't say anything, He would not be able to pass this level today. Seniors, I really don't know what happened just now. We are all proceeding according to plan. It happened suddenly, and I don't know much, and it is our people who died. Jian Wushuang said sincerely. Own people. If it was someone else who died, I'm afraid he would have played in the hands of several sixth-order emperors. Sichu Nan looked gloomy and said coldly, what plan, what organization, let's talk about it one by one. It may be that he is used to it in the celestial realm, and his mouth is a series of cross-examination. Jian Wushuang turned his head and glanced at Elder Zishan, and threw the pot over. He is just a fifth-order emperor on the surface, he can't say too much, he can only say what he has just participated in, and the rest has to be supported by the tall man. Others can also see that Jian Wushuang's identity is special, but his strength is average. In the lower West Sea, the owner of the Zizhu forest, this time I explored this place with a few friends. I didn't want this to happen. The fallen people were greedy and lost their consciousness by backlash. I don't know anything else. The words of Elder Zishan are very vague. Not as good as Jian Wushuang said. Obviously it can't be fooled. Jian Wushuang's heart moved, and he began to calculate the situation on the field. The ultimate emperor's law body has a high probability of falling, so if the remaining combat power is distributed, the old man's palace and the inheritor are better. He now has a lot to win over the master of the Turtle Spirit Island. In fact, it is not to win, but to take refuge. Jian Wushuang whispered secretly, Island owner, the Senate Palace and the inheritors are the strongest on the field now. We can't fight, or we will make them cheaper. The opportunity ahead is already occupied by the other party. If we don't do something, I have no chance to intervene in all the opportunities behind. Boy, do you want to use the old man again? Guiling Island owner is not stupid. He was right, it was indeed appropriate to join forces now, but Jian Wushuang had a Tier 6 top emperor, and he didn't have much bargaining chips. A Tier 6 top emperor, dispensable, nothing serious. Chapter 54-25. If it is the 6th order peak emperor, it may still make him a little jealous, but the 6th order top emperor is not casually suppressed. Jian Wushuang also knew that what he lacked was a bargaining chip, and immediately said, the island owner doesn't want to know, why can I help the emperor enter the body of the universe lord? The master of Guiling Island was taken aback, he almost forgot that King Bai entered the body of the lord of the universe, and it was Jian Wushuang who helped him. This is undeniable, especially the power erupting in Jian Wushuang's body is very peculiar, and it can also help the 6th order emperor restore his combat power. As long as the island owner is willing to cooperate, I may not be able to help in future battles, but I have absolutely no problem restoring your roots. Jian Wushuang assured. The Guiling Island owner was a little disdainful, and said lightly, you can do it just as you catch you. Island owner can try, I still have this courage. Jian Wushuang's eyes were firm, and he wanted to catch him? Not too possible. The three parties persisted for a while, and finally Jian Wushuang reached an agreement with the owner of Guiling Island. The treasure was opened in 1999. The owner of Guiling Island had to choose first, and the rest was Jian Wushuang. This basically cut off Jian Wushuang's chance this time. But it would be nice to be able to save his life, and he didn't dare to have too many extravagant hopes. Save your life first, and consider everything else in the long run. Sichu Nan and others didn't want to have another dispute, but when they looked at Jian Wushuang's eyes, there was a little more murderous intent. Naturally, I don't believe that Jian Wushuang and others are from any inner sea forces. Although they dealt with the shadow sect in the heaven realm, they also had some understanding of the Kaimen in the realm, and they were all a force. The tripartite forces turned into a confrontation between the two parties again. Now the road ahead was blocked by Hua Qing, and Zhen Wuyang and others guarded the way, so they could only wait. Jian Wushuang is also curious about whether Hua Qing can succeed. The two have a good relationship, so naturally they will not match up with the owner of the Turtle Spirit Island to destroy it. In the light, Hua Qing and Jiang Shong sat cross-legged face to face. Master. Jiang Shong looked at Hua Qing, his eyes flashing. She protects Hua Qing and helps Hua Qing join the Tao. Jiang Shong, who had become an emperor, didn't join the isle at all, and even the Tao was very vague. She is said to be an emperor, but physically, she is more mundane. That grass and tree spirit is equivalent to her original Tao, which can be condensed into the original Tao of spiritual consciousness, which is probably the only one. The immature children hovered beside them. Hua Qing clasped her hands together, motionless. Her Tao. As the name suggests, it is to integrate one's own Tao into space, integrate the origin of space, and finally step into the ranks of emperors. Hui Qing's luck is very good, and the chance of harmony is greater. The ultimate way Zen machine void and ethereal, unlike Jian Wushuang's kendo, it is visible and tangible. Zen Ji is more like the Tao of heaven, and it is also related to time. It is not easy to integrate with space. The Tao of Zen is floating in the space of Hua Qing, and it has been unable to integrate into one for a long time. Because there is already a way in the space, this way is the original heavenly way in the space, and Hua Qing has to suppress the other party before she can integrate her Zen machine into the space. As the saying goes, there is no room for two tigers in one mountain. How can there be a second way of heaven in one space? The origin of the Zen machine transforms into Hui Qing's appearance, floating in the silent space. Good. Reincarnation of the way of heaven, once grasped the origin of space early, turned out to be a bad thing. If you only grasp the origin of the space now, I am afraid the heavenly path inside will be so strong. But the origin of his space has reached the level of yang to yin, and the heavenly path contained in it is naturally unusual. He didn't expect that he would meet the opportunity of He Dao when he just arrived here. Originally thought that it was necessary to go deep into the remains. Unexpectedly, after the black hole came out, he would arrive at a lotus platform in Lingtai Mountain Spring, which seemed to be specially prepared for him. All kinds of auxiliary treasures, plus a trace of time origin, are what he lacks most. Combining all the treasures and realizing time, he embarked on the most critical part of the path of spiritual practice. The road to the Emperor. It's like a bridge connecting heaven and earth. After crossing this bridge, he was so big that he would never be able to go up if he fell down. Time is the process. The Zen machine is to deduct everything. Once, present, and future. Hua Qing transforms into three, connected into one line. He used to be a little novice monk who practiced cross-legged on Mount Wuliang for countless years. Now he is an anti-heaven daoist, and he has stood up in trials and tribulations. But now, he is far away from the past and near to the future, and the Tao is the same. He always feels that he is farther and farther away from the infinite and fearless way of the past. Future. Vague, but full of hope. He can't see clearly, but he can feel it. In the future, he can control the world, and even control the time, but he has a pair of big hands holding his spine, and those hands are always there. In the future. Hui Qing's eyes flashed, suddenly opened her eyes, and looked directly at Jiang Shong. He seems to understand. The master of those hands is Jiang Shong. Hua Qing was dumbfounded. In the future, he will be controlled by his apprentice, and he will still be unable to get rid of it until he becomes the existence who masters the time. Seeing Hua Qing wake up, Jiang Shong said softly, "Master?" "No problem." Hua Qing continued to close her eyes, and Ukanshu Com returned to the space. He hesitated. "I don't know whether to break through. He can live for others, he has not fulfilled the wishes of several masters. Go to the big division to save all the immortals. Go down, is it really right?" Hua Qing muttered to herself. At this moment, he saw several former masters. The jade-faced master looked at Hua Qing and stretched out his hand to grab him. The rough head of the monk waved goodbye. He is far from the right way he once was. The distance to He Dao is getting closer. The right way once was the way of the immeasurable Buddha. But now the boundless Buddha has changed, and the preaching on Mount Boundless has become a joke. He Dao. Harmony is the truth. Hui Qing's eyes became firm, he didn't pay attention to Jiang Shong's hands, and struck forward and attacked the emperor. The outside world is also changing. The light on Hui Qing's body illuminates the world, far beyond the light in Lingtai Mountain Spring. On the distant Tomb Mountain, the true spirit took back the deity of Shong, and stood shoulder to shoulder with Shong on the top. Successful. Zhenling breathed out. On the Tomb Mountain, the first ultimate daoist who broke through the emperor appeared. In Shang's current realm, Hui Qing can also be seen, a little uneasy, and said, "Master True Spirit, those hands? It's not hands, it's time, it's Hui Qing's first catastrophe." Zhenling was very satisfied. He put in that trace of time origin. The relics of Shihai are also the secret fight between him and the gods. In fact, it should have been turned on long ago. He saw those things about the gods more clearly than anyone else, and he was always planning, just waiting for this day. Let Hui Qing join the road is more important than the entire Shihai ruins. Chapter 54-26. There are indeed the inheritance and treasures of the three kings in the West Sea ruins, but those things are still insignificant. The Temple of Chishan was established that year, plundering the treasures of the entire time and space, and it was impossible to use it. Even if there are a few masters of the universe, the true spirit can still be raised. Zihai's plan was for Hui Qing, and as for the follow-up, it was left to others. This time he won. In his opinion, it is like this. The of the giant clan resurrected a cosmic lord, but his origin was much different. After so many years of ossification, he had only half of his power. Even if it is resurrected, there is not much threat. As long as the ruins are out, his true body can come to Shihai to behead the opponent. Firego. Zhenling turned to look at Shang, and said lightly, "You want to go in?" Shang nodded, with determination in his eyes. "Don't wait. Let's wait. The secret method can't be Mahayana, maybe it's because I didn't meet a suitable opponent." The business chief took a sigh of relief. The reason for the successive breakthroughs in these years is not too much. In the Time House, he has stayed at least for tens of thousands of eras. The only difference from the outside world is that he has the guidance of the true spirit, and the inheritance he has obtained illuminates the road ahead of him. Now that the road ahead is spacious, he wants to go down and can't just retreat, so he went to the long river of time and space. There used to be many mysterious long rivers of time and space, but now it's not as good as the four secret realms. There are too few strong people and too few resources. This long river of time and space is a long river of time and space that has not been bred for long, and there is not even a master of the universe. Zhenling thought flew, and there was the past of the gods in his memory. Compared with Chishan, the age of these inheritors is not bad. At the beginning, the god of God was born on a desolate ancient star, with wild beasts, and there was no place for the human race to stand. Now that the long river of time and space in the outside world, at least the practitioner has the final say, and all special beings have to stand aside. As soon as Zhenling pointed out, a black hole appeared, and he said, "Be careful, the other party's background is very mysterious, you must run away in danger." "Don't worry, I'm not one of those young people." Shang leaked a smile. He was also an ancestor-level figure in the primitive universe. How could he be impulsive? Once he couldn't beat him, he still had to escape. As Shang entered the black hole, Zhenling looked at Hui Qing again. Although the potential of quotient is very strong, the route is a bit extreme after all. Way of destruction. Inappropriate. According to the will of the gods, to cultivate future generations, it is best to take a more stable path, just like Hui Qing's Zen machine, deducing all things, and becoming the pinnacle of the universe in the future, will also restrain yourself, because you see farther than others. In this way, maybe you can go on forever, and you won't embark on the old path of the gods. You know, it is not so easy for this world to exist forever. Outside Lingtai Spring. Looking at the light, luck climbed. The emperor with experience knows that the people inside will succeed. Successful. Congratulations to Tong Tian. Wind and rain, True Wuyang. Kaishui travelers all clasped fists to congratulate. Tongtian Buddha nodded in relief. He is very optimistic about Hui Qing, and is not as narrow-minded as the immeasurable Buddha, and cannot tolerate others stronger than him. Tongtian Buddha is more open, the ultimate way is to be stronger than them, this is an indisputable fact. Don't talk about 10,000 ways of flow, divine body flow, these are useless. Even if your origin is mutated, it won't work. Thinking of this, Tongtian Buddha looked at Zhen Wuyang. Not to mention, the origin can also mutate. Since Zhen Wuyang entered the Temple of Chishan, the origin has mutated. The origin of the cultivator, returning to the ancestors, has become the origin of the beasts in ancient times. I don't know if it is good or bad, anyway, the strength has risen a lot. Otherwise Zhen Wuyang would not be able to keep up with the speed of him and Kai Shui. At first, the wind and rain didn't even crush them, but when they arrived at the Temple of the Gods, they quickly overtook them. Fengyu Demon Lord's potential is mediocre, and he is considered to be a well-regulated second-rank origin Dao. Hopefully in the future, it will be difficult to get another level up. It's not that you don't have to have a special origin Dao to become the Lord of the Universe, but after becoming the Lord of the Universe, without a special origin Dao, you won't be able to live long. Since Tongtian Buddha inherited the inheritance of the Lord of the Universe, his vision has widened a lot. The emperors all want to become the master of the universe, but after knowing it, it is estimated that not many people have that idea. After becoming the Lord of the Universe, he encountered more catastrophes. The emperor at least has luck. If he keeps a low profile, he can exist for a long time. But the Lord of the Universe is different. Catastrophe. The Lord of the Universe is really like the universe, with all kinds of disasters. Once it fails to cross, it will fall. The Tongtian Buddha even secretly guessed that the God of God had fallen because he had not overcome the catastrophe, and that he had fallen with a long river of time. There is no source way that is two against the sky, and becoming the master of the universe is also looking for death. Only those ultimate existences can go further. Out. Tongtian Buddha and others leaked smiles and looked at Huiqing and Jiang Shong. After Huiqing broke through, he sensed the strong people around him, somewhat surprised. I have seen all the emperors, Buddha masters, and hall masters. Huiqing bowed to see him. Although broke through, she still had respect for these emperors. On the tomb sacred mountain, not only the real spirit took care of him, but the Tongtian Buddha and others also took good care of his younger generation. Tongtian Buddha smiled lightly and said, Huiqing, you have become an emperor. According to the rules of our hometown and world, you are also a Buddha from now on. In the world of Tongtian Buddhism, as long as it is an emperor, it is a Buddha. Dian is a bodhisattva, Yangxian is an arhat, and common customs are novice monks. Huiqing grew up from a novice monk to a Buddha. For a while, I was in a trance. But he knew from the bottom of his heart that he stepped onto the Zen machine and went against the Buddha. Facing the enthusiasm of Tongtian Buddha, he didn't say much, just smiled. You are the fifth-order emperor who just broke through, Huiqing, your realm of space is very high. Huiqing replied, it's the star realm now. As soon as this sentence came out, the Guiling Island master and others in the distance were very jealous. A Daoist has just joined the Dao, and the realm of space is the same as them. Moreover, when the space realm reached the star realm, the four great secret realms were all sixth-order emperors, but Huiqing was still a fifth-order emperor, which showed that they were far behind on the origin road. Little friend Huiqing is the fifth-order emperor who succeeds in the Dao. I am afraid that his combat power can be comparable to the sixth-order peak. Fengyu Emperor praised him. He was in a trance for a while. When he entered the Temple of Chishan, he was still the peak of the primitive universe. The fifth-order peak that he dreamed of was no longer the peak of the primitive universe. I don't know if it has become stronger or weaker. Many people think so. Now many inheritor emperors have sent a Dharma body to return to the original universe. It's just that there are no disputes in the current primitive universe. Chapter 54:27. When encountering a weaker emperor, he will not be bullied. When encountering a strong one, he will naturally respect. A piece of peace, because there are no disputes. Even the younger generation, as long as they arrive at Yangxian, they will be sent to the Daoqi temple for a trial. The rest of the ordinary, in the primitive universe, there are still many treasures for cultivating the ordinary. Even if some treasures are not available, they can be purchased in the four secret realms. Even the current emperor is lazy to go for it. What is there to break through? Innate treasure? Original treasure? It's all rubbish. Might as well go to the four secret realms to pick up the tatters. In front of countless strong people, Huiqing is like the protagonist, chatting with the strong ones one by one and congratulating them. Standing in the corner, Jian Wushuang said silently in his heart. Hua Qing, congratulations. Standing like myself, is this the gap? When everyone was talking in detail, a huge black hole appeared behind Lingquan. Everyone was shocked and quickly backed away. Jian Wushuang retired directly to the end, ready to escape at any time. If there were treasures, it would not be his turn, so it was better to retreat farther. Inside the black hole, a towering figure walked out, as if he was one with the black hole, coming out with the power of destruction in the black hole. Shang. Kai Shui was overjoyed. The person here is the only second ultimate emperor. Shang first, he nodded to everyone, then looked at Hua Qing and said, congratulations, don't disappoint the cultivation of Master True Spirit. Hua Qing also understood, this is probably the chance that the real spirit has prepared for him. I came here to deal with the Lord of the Universe. You can move forward as soon as possible. The greater opportunity is still behind. As soon as Shang's words fell, his whole body burst out and rushed in the direction behind them, and his figure seemed to have stopped here, and finally turned into a ghost, slowly disappearing. The others were okay, but they were not surprised by the strength of shocking Shang. The Guiling Island Master and others have not seen so much, and there are even some of them who have never seen the most powerful. The Island Master of Turtle Spirit was more knowledgeable. He had once entered the Inner Sea Demon Court and met the real Demon Emperor, the absolute strongest, and there were only two strongest demons in the realm. One set up a demon court in Shihai, and the other was in Tianbei. He was a demon wolf, very low-key, he had never heard of it. For them, the absolute peak is the pinnacle. But the feeling that the one gave them just now surpassed the absolute peak. If you really want to do something with them, I am afraid that a single glance can kill most of them in a flash. Terrible. Fortunately, I didn't do anything to them. Jian Wushuang was also shocked, not because of his strength, but because of Shang's origin. All of them began to condense into a set of rules. That is not an ordinary rule, but the law of operation of the universe. This is the manifestation of the space reaching the realm of the universe. The space has reached the realm of the universe, which means that Shang is almost reaching the level of the master of the universe. Once space is broken and time is condensed, it becomes the master of the universe. Envy. Jian Wushuang had envy in his eyes. First, Hua Qing succeeded in the first step, and then he saw Shang, who was about to become the lord of the universe. Jian Wushuang would not envy other people, but he and Hua Qing and Shang are of the same kind, and both master the ultimate way. One day, he will also become the emperor, even the lord of the universe. And now, the emperor is fast too. The seventh level peak of the extreme Tao, once his space reaches the realm of the black hole, it can help him enter the extreme Tao consummation. The eighth level of Kendo, and the idea of the ninth level is also there, and it's coming soon. This time, he might also be able to go to the Taoist consummation, not far from Hadao. The strong road. Go. The owner of Guiling Island shouted angrily and led the crowd behind Sichu Nan and the others. Although Hua Qing has succeeded in the harmony, there is no need to go directly. The key is no turning back. It is better to keep exploring. The emperor is not the end, after all, he has to go on. Continue toward the middle of the silent mountain. In the valley not far away, there is a huge ancient temple, which is very old, but the breath above it rises to the sky. Palace of Three Kings. Seeing the font size above, Jian Wushuang was overjoyed. No wonder the corpses didn't attack here. It turned out that this is the old nest of the Three Kings. It's not that they don't attack, it's that they can't enter at all. Looking at the Three Kings' palace in front of him, Sichu Nan threw Xiaoyan out, then looked at the Guiling Island Master, and said, "Don't be froze, take the bleeding Luo Jing to open the main hall." Temph, it's up to you. Turtle Spirit Island Master was able to be tough. After knowing that the deity of Shang came, he was much more honest. I don't dare to have any evil thoughts anymore, I just hope to be fair after entering and get some benefits, just don't ask for how good he can make him go further. Fighting with the inheritors, he was frightened and unwilling to fight. The rest are not fools. The Shang dare to deal with the Lord of the Universe. Killing them is not a matter of blowing a breath. Don't look at the distance so far, maybe it can really kill them in one breath. Click. The stone statue outside the hall began to loosen. Everyone's hearts tightened, and the eyes of the stone statue showed a dim sheen. The strange voice sounded again. Everyone didn't understand it at all. That voice makes people yearn for. The wonderful sound from the ancient Three Kings Palace represents the inheritance of the ancient Three Kings and the supremacy of the Three Kings. The two stone statues trembled slightly, but it was a pity that the Three Kings fell in a hurry, and now even the stone statue guarding the door is damaged, and there are no two working spiritual senses inside. Among the two stone statues in front of the hall, only one of stood up slowly, and the other one did not stand up after shaking for a long time. Sorrow. A huge breath began to condense, everyone knew it was bad, and there was no time to retreat. The stone statue turned into a giant with a dog head, holding a huge axe, and smashed directly at everyone. Retreat. The owner of Guiling Island also shouted angrily. The Fifth Order Emperor by his side had already retreated far away. The combat power of the stone statue is unknown, but from the aura, it cannot be resisted without a Sixth Order Emperor. Ooh. After uttering a strange cry again, the stone statue began to shrink and its aura became weaker. The axe hit several Sixth Order Emperors, including Sichu Nan. After the stone statue's breath dropped to a certain level, a 5 character appeared on its chest. Jian Wushuang recognized this name, and his eyes lit up. When King Bai deduced those names, he knew them all. 5s. What does it mean? The stone statue suddenly became smaller and its strength suddenly declined. What does this mean? Jian Wushuang stood at the back of the crowd, scanning the crowd in front. 5s. The Fifth Order Emperor? He counted it down, and now there are the most Fifth Order Emperors on the field. Understood. This stone statue is also to be ordered by people. Otherwise, relying on the strength of the Three Kings, even the puppets who guard the door can kill them at will, but being able to reduce their strength to come to the other party is obviously controlled by a certain consciousness. This is likely to be an inheritance, just like the Temple of Chishan, select inheritors. But the death of the Three Kings' court was too hasty, and they didn't prepare too much, so this stone statue blocked them. Another thing seems to be that it's too long to start. Chapter 54:28. After the dog-head stone statue became smaller and weaker, an enchantment also appeared in front of the main hall, and a lot of text appeared above it. The text in each line is different. Enter one by one. Finally, among the countless lines of text, they saw a kind of text that was universal in ancient times. It probably means that everyone needs a pair of stone statues to fight against each other. Those who win will enter, but those who lose cannot enter. As for the Sixth Order Emperor, you can go in directly. No wonder the 5 characters appear on the chest of the stone statue, it turned out to be to stop the Fifth Order Emperor. Everyone glanced at each other, no one dared to take the initiative to step forward. The master of Guiling Island looked at Jian Wushuang obliquely, and said indifferently, "Let your people try first." It is good. Jian Wushuang was not qualified to refute. At the moment, let a Fifth Order Peak Emperor go up and try. The Fifth Order Peak Emperor stepped out and entered the enchantment in one step, and the two sides broke out without being muddled. Tear. Puff. The Fifth Order Emperor was directly torn apart his body. The blood donation burst on the spot. Everyone nodded, satisfied. The fighting power of the stone statue is average. Among the Fifth Order Emperors, Zhen Wuyang and others can enter. For the rest, it's not that easy. But the Sixth Order Emperor was still a little worried. It is said that Tier 6 can enter, but no one can guarantee that there is no danger. This time not only the master of Guiling Island looked at Jian Wushuang, but also Sichu Nan. Jian Wushuang had no choice but to say to Elder Zishan, "Elder Zishan, you go in first, since the above said that the Sixth Order Emperor can enter, there should be no problem." Then he sounded and comforted, "Everything is for the Lord God." Yes. The Elder Zishan looked firm, and entered the enchantment directly. The stone statue froze for a moment, and it didn't take a shot at the Elder Zishan. After staying for almost a breath, Zishan's figure disappeared in place, obviously entering. Sichu Nan and the others breathed a sigh of relief, and then began to go in one by one. Sichu Nan didn't rush in, first let the 2 Sixth Order Emperors go in, and then let Shen Wuyang and others go in again. There was no intention to let the Guiling Island Lord go in at all. Guiling Island Master was anxious. Sichu Nan sneered and said, "Pharaoh, what are you worried about? I didn't go in. When these little guys go in, I will go in with you again. Zhen Wuyang and the others are not weak, and it is easy to get in. But it's difficult for Guiling Island Master. Among the inheritors, even 10,000 stars can enter. When the Fourth Order Emperor enters, the stone statue will display a 4 character. This surprised Luo Chuan, the 4th prince of the Moluo kingdom. It is difficult for the 5th Order Emperor to enter, but it is relatively easy for the 4th Order Emperor to enter. At the same time, he glanced at the eldest Prince Rocha, and leaked a sneer. It didn't take long for Luo Sha to break through the 5th Order Emperor, and at most he had the strength of the 5th Order peak, and he had no hope of entering. Soon the inheritors finished entering, and Sichu Nan was the last one to enter. He was also afraid that the owner of Guiling Island and others would jump the wall in a hurry. Even if you dare not kill the inheritors, there is no way to stop them, so he stayed at the end. He glanced at the island master of the turtle spirit, walked directly into the enchantment, and then disappeared. The Guiling Island master and the others couldn't wait a long time ago, and they didn't care about their subordinates at all. Just like dumping dumplings, they all went in without a few breaths. Those who stay outside now are the 5th Order Emperors. Jian Wushuang finally came to the forefront. Now on the field, the strongest is their side. He now has 9 5th Order peak Emperors. On the side of the Guiling Island Lord, in addition to some emperors of the Moluo Kingdom, there are disciples of Guiling Island and some other subordinates of the 6th Order Emperors who stayed in place. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to say to kill all of them, but it was not difficult to kill Rocha. Especially the other party still holds Gong Miaoyi in his hands. He clenched a fist gently, and Gong Miaoyi, who was following Luo Sha, frowned. "Kill him, or you will die." Jian Wushuang's law body hidden in Gong Miaoyi's body quietly transmitted the sound. "Kill him. Kill him." Gong Miaoyi lingered, and Jian Wushuang's law body directly began to swallow. The pain that went deep into the source caused Gong Miaoyi's forehead to show cold sweat. The 5th Order Emperor present at the scene also had a relatively high status for Luo Sha, but he did not have much confidence, so he asked others to try first, and when he found that Gong Miaoyi was wrong, he turned his head to look at Gong Miaoyi and whispered, "Why?" "Up." Gong Miaoyi leaked a smile, shook his head, and said softly, "Nothing." "Yep." But before Luo Sha turned around, the blood Luo Jing in Gong Miaoyi's hand passed through Luo Sha's chest. Luo Sha stared down and looked down at the Shui Luo Jing that appeared on her chest. When he wanted to turn around, Jian Wushuang had already appeared in front of him. A hand knife exploded out of a 40,000-fold divine body, and directly gave Luo Sha's head. Chopped it down. The body of the divine body was directly broken, leaving the source, and Jian Wushuang's body turned into a faint black hole, directly swallowing all the source of the source. All this was completed in the blink of an eye, and when everyone reacted, the 9 5th Order peak emperors had already stood around Jian Wushuang. Gee. The original taste is still as wonderful as before. These are nothing, but the key is that the arm of the candle dragon he dreamed of was overturned by a piece of arm, or a piece of armor. Jian Wushuang gently placed it on his right arm. The huge attraction came from the origin of the beast god. Zhu Long's arm merged with Jian Wushuang's right arm, exploding with a powerful breath. His divine body climbed again. An uncontrollable force came from his right hand, causing blue veins on his forehead to burst. Boom! Jian Wushuang directly leaked the original face. The hideous pale face, white hair wafting. The candle dragon's wings opened directly. He made a slight fist with his right hand, and finally suppressed the force. The entire right arm turned dark red, and the blood-colored claws could tear the space. His arm was 50,000 times broken unilaterally. The overall divine body increased from 40,000 times to 45,000 times. Amazing. Jian Wushuang held back his curiosity, looked around and rushed towards Luo Chuan. The 4th prince, who was just surprised that Jian Wushuang killed his own brother, didn't react, and was directly squeezed by Jian Wuhua, and the source was swallowed by the huge suction in his palm. Rabbits and foxes don't understand the truth of sorrow, and they don't complain. The other fifth-order emperors on the field leaked expressions of fear. After Jian Wushuang got the arm of the candle dragon, his divine body skyrocketed, and his strength naturally rose a lot. But among these people, he is not the strongest. Don't worry, everyone, I'm just feuding against Mo Luo Guo, you have to go in lightly. Jian Wushuang made a request. Broly's father Bukuan was a little bit unbelievable, standing behind Broly, pulling Broly not to let him in. https:// Please remember the domain name of this book's first publication, Apex Novel Mobile Version Reading URL. Chapter 54:29. Since you are not at ease, then I will go in first. Jian Wushuang leaked a smile, regained his appearance, hiding his identity. But when he looked at Bu Kuan, there was something wrong in his eyes. Bu Kuan recognized him, but the old guy was so smart that he didn't see it. Can't let it go. After I went in, all of you who couldn't get in were killed, especially the old guy. Jian Wu had a smile on both sides, but privately ordered the removal of all those who could not get in. The inability to enter shows that the strength is average. These fifth-order peak emperors should be able to easily sweep these people. Wow! Jian Wushuang entered the barrier. The stone statue froze for a moment, and its figure kept shrinking. It could be shrunk to a very small size. After a word appeared, it couldn't be smaller, but it was still different from Jian Wushuang's realm. In the end, Jian Wushuang was teleported away, and the stone statue did not make a move. This surprised many people. Bu Kun's father breathed a sigh of relief and whispered, "My son, my husband can't accompany you to accompany you. Remember to follow the island owner after entering, and don't provoke others." Broly nodded, and then said something rare, "Father, be careful, I'm going." Wow! After Broly entered the enchantment, the stone statue regained the fighting power of the fifth-order emperor. Just a moment after the two sides fought, Broly easily smashed the stone statue. Even more relaxed than Zhen Wuyang and others. Bu Kuan leaked a smile of relief. Fleeing from the heavens to the land, to the West Sea, Broly successfully joined the road. The movement was very loud, attracting the master of the Turtle Spirit Island, and was accepted as a disciple. With a big backing, Bukuan is also satisfied. He has been devoting himself to practicing. Broly's strength has broken through quickly, and his realm seems to be connected with Broly. The stronger Broly, the more he can break through. Faster. But one thing is very strange. When he was a third-order emperor, he was not as strong as the second-order peak. Now he is a fifth-order emperor, and his combat power is not as good as some fourth-order ordinary emperors. But the realm is up, but the combat power is getting weaker and weaker. The weaker the combat power, the stronger Broly, which is like a fate. This is the Tao of change. When the outside world was no longer able to enter, there was a big battle, and everyone happened to fall in this battle, including Broly's father, Bu Kuan. Inside the Three Kings Hall, after Jian Wushuang entered, there was a passage in front of him, which was long and narrow. Countless steps and links lead to the deepest point. Jian Wushuang looked at him, and he could only see the 10th step at most. There were some accidents, but I didn't think much about it, and stepped straight up. A piece of information began to pass into his mind. It was some kind of powerful jerk. Is this? Jian Wushuang frowned, a short and very brief genius. Jian Wushuang could understand the kind at a glance. It was very simple. Jian Wushuang didn't want to comprehend, and after quickly mastering it, he set foot on the second step. At a glance, there was a message in my mind. This time it was a little harder than last time, but it was solved in the blink of an eye. The two can also be linked. This is a fundamental knowledge about the airway. Jian Wushuang continued to move forward. Just after entering the third step, a person appeared behind him. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, and the figure disappeared. Is it him? Jian Wushuang thought of Broly he had seen in the Shangqing Palace. Disappeared directly? This is too fast. Even if it's simple, you have to pause. The opponent rushed directly, and after the 10th order, he couldn't see the front, and he didn't know how fast the opponent was. Anyway, this 10th order is just a blink of an eye. Jian Wushuang was a little self-doubt. Is the opponent too fast or he is too slow? This is too bad. Is this the Tao of change? Jian Wushuang's heart was shocked. Extreme Tao encompasses all things and all things, but when these ways are transformed into the power of all things, he also feels very strange, but he hasn't understood the rules contained in it until now. Perhaps the answer could be found from Broly. Jian Wushuang's eyes were low. Keep going. A quarter of an hour later, he saw a figure appear in front of him. He is a 6th order emperor, who looks like a strong man on the side of the Turtle Spirit Island owner, wearing a high crown and a face like white jade. It's the White Emperor. The body is a sea lion, which is quite famous in the West Sea, but its strength is much worse. It belongs to the kind of high-profile but incompetent powerhouse. It's just Tier 6 ordinary. Click. Jian Wushuang quickly caught up with the opponent. Yep. Bai Huang turned his head and looked around, and he also found Jian Wushuang. It was embarrassing for him to fall in the end. Even Broly, the disciple of Guiling Island Lord, surpassed him, and now he was surpassed by Jian Wushuang again, making his expression slightly changed. Jian Wushuang ignored him at all and passed by. The body here does not have any supernatural power, and it is impossible to attack others at all. Otherwise, you really have to be careful of these people. 1700. Jian Wushuang once again encountered a 6th order emperor who was still a strong man on the side of the Guiling Island Lord. After walking so far, Jian Wushuang finally understood his intentions. Walking here is more like comprehending a secret method. This secret method tests their souls. Jian Wushuang's soul power is not weak. Now, has also realized some of the beauty. The origin of the soul. It was the first time Jian Wushuang saw this kind of special origin. Moreover, the great power who created the secret method is probably still the strongest of the ultimate way, because the origin contained in it is too powerful. Has the ultimate meaning. Jian Wushuang was sure that this existence was definitely a mighty person at the master level of the universe. The more you go up, Jian Wushuang's soul can be stronger. Combining with the previous comprehension, now he has begun to grasp part of the soul origin. In his sea of all things, the strongest is still Kendo, but the soul of the soul has evolved from a drop of water to a pool of water. Cool. 2000 orders. Finally, he felt a sense of stagnation. It's time to stop and practice hard. The growth of the soul is crucial for him to improve his realm. Extreme Sea. Jian Wushuang, whose soul strengthened, began to melt the broken origins floating in the Sea of Origins. Pieces are like crystals. Continuously integrating and releasing, he himself is constantly becoming stronger. There is no bottleneck in the last 3 layers of Jidao. The only difficulty is how to digest these original crystals that are not integrated with the original sea. At first they were fragments, but now they have condensed into submarine reefs. It became a stumbling block for his breakthrough. If these reefs are not removed, sooner or later he will suffer from the above losses. Cultivation is like a flat boat floating in the sea, it can resist strong winds and waves, and finally it will be bad when it touches the scorch. So if you want to go more smoothly, you have to melt these reefs. But now he has less than 1 level of integration, and there are still 90% of the follow-up. https:// Please remember the domain name of this book's first publication, Apex Novel Mobile Version Reading URL. Chapter 5430. The key to is still the tip of the iceberg, and more crystals are on the bottom of the sea. His soul realm to the extreme may not be able to integrate all. This needs spatial help. Once the space realm reaches the black hole, he can quickly swallow these crystals and fuse them. Carry on. Although the flies are small, they are also fleshy. If his soul does not improve once, he can merge a lot of crystals, and his strength is more pure. For the first time, I walked 2000 steps in one breath. This time, he walked 800. Has caught up with the Emperor of the Sky Toad, the top Emperor of the 6th rank. It's nothing to catch up with these people. The heirs never came in and haven't seen one yet. Even Broly has never seen his back. Their speed may be faster than him. Although they came in a while earlier, they wouldn't leave him so far. The higher the soul realm, the farther you can see. Now he can see clearly. The soberness in the previous 100 steps was once muddled, but now his eyes are like thunder and lightning. Continue to practice cross-legged to improve the extreme motion. So repeatedly. After leaving, I don't know how long, Jian Wushuang finally met an acquaintance. The 10,000 star god. There is still 104 orders from Wanxing. Jian Wushuang is happy in his heart. I haven't seen it for thousands of years since the original star. Now the other party has not only succeeded in rapport, but it also seems to have been apprenticed to Sichu Nan, and now the chaos is rising. Sichu Nan is the deputy head of the Law Enforcement Hall of the Senate's palace. His strength is comparable to that of the highest level. He has tremendous power in the heavens. After Sichu Nan is a teacher, he basically walked sideways in the heavens. But now Wanxing has become more and more restrained. No longer domineering, replaced by a low-key aura, just like a normal practitioner, step by step, each step will be understood for a long time, and then stepped again. Jian Wushuang quickly caught up with him, turned his head and glanced at Xing, without any expression, directly surpassing the past. Seeing Jian Wushuang overtake, Xing was a little surprised, but only surprised, and then continued to be immersed in the secrets of comprehension. 5,000 steps. Snapped. When Jian Wushuang stepped in, his figure flashed and disappeared in place. Here, the ages have changed. Before Jian Wushuang could react, he heard a simple voice, which turned out to be an ancient language he understood. Practitioner, if you can reach the 5,000 level, it means that your soul has reached the threshold of the 30,000 temple heavenly sovereign, and you can choose any of the Taoist methods here. Jian Wushuang saw the scenery in front of him clearly. A huge ancient hall, with many thrones above it, and a huge head floating on the top, the appearance of a strange animal. Where did the sound come from? Reward a set of methods. Jian Wushuang leaked joy. Changed. Belongs to a very special source way, even rarer than the ultimate way. There are even fewer ways to change the way. Although he is not a practitioner of the Tao of transformation, there is something in the extreme Tao, and the Tao of transformation can change everything. No matter what he cultivates, he can practice the Tao of transformation. This is very similar to Ji Dao, but Ji Dao encompasses everything, and Change Dao changes everything, and there is essentially a gap. God and Demon refining body. Jian Wushuang took a piece of jade slip from the nearest throne and looked at it carefully. This is a simplified version. Is about body refining, which is similar to body refining in the demon space. He doesn't need this. Took a look and put it back. Magic pupil. Various methods of Jian Wushuang gave up after a glance, which was not very suitable. These thrones seem to have an order, the more forward, the stronger the method. Jian Wushuang was not in a hurry, looking at them one by one. I saw tens of thousands of methods. If these methods are taken out, I am afraid that the true spirits will appear. No wonder King Bai said that the Temple of Three Kings was comparable to the Temple of Chishan in ancient times. Is really extraordinary. There are so many methods at this level. And this kind of method, it seems that the lowest is created by the most powerful. At the top, there are more than 10 methods of Wangsua Mountain. Jian Wushuang has no permission to see. Practitioner, the method above requires you to reach 10,000 steps before you can choose it. Jian Wushuang stepped back, respectfully clasping his fists and saluting. The juniors don't need anything for the time being, I want to continue walking. It is good. The giant beast opened his big mouth and swallowed Jian Wushuang directly. Keep going. Most of the he got are not average. Tianma Gong is a method of the highest level. He hasn't cultivated to consummation now, and he doesn't bother to cultivate this level of faculty anymore. If you want to learn the strongest, the average person really doesn't like it. Keep going. Not long after this time, I met an acquaintance. But it's not too familiar. Is a fifth-order pinnacle emperor of the Yuan Palace. Also let him meet several in a row. These old guys, who have lived for countless years, realized that they did not lose to Wanxing. Looked back, Wn Xing Tiandi was just 200 steps behind him. The higher the soul realm, the clearer the eyes. After 5,000 steps, he can even see the scene beyond 300 steps. And after going to the present, he found that the fragments of information received, linked together, turned out to form a simple soul secret method. Slightly adjusted, the whole person was shocked. A soul Dao origin rose, and there was an extra force in the palm of his hand. The power of soul Dao is very special, similar to change Dao. Jian Wushuang secretly guessed that among the 3 kings in the 3 kings' palace, one of the 3 kings might be the king who cultivated the origin of the soul. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so generous, attaching his soul Dao secret method to the steps along the way. This secret method can be roughly divided into 5 layers under Jian Wushuang's careful distinction. He is almost at the 7,000th level now, and he hasn't even mastered it the first time. I'm afraid I won't be able to get started until you reach the 10,000 floor. This is even more demanding than change. The threshold of the change path is to walk 5,000 steps. However, it is normal. The change path requires 5,000 levels, because it is not his own major cultivator. Guilin Island Lord. Jian Wushuang saw another figure in front of him. It is the Turtle Island Master, who can walk here at such a fast speed. The 6th order peak powerhouse is really extraordinary. Even if the origin is flawed, the soul is not flawed. After Jian Wushuang super came up, Turtle Island Lord didn't care at all, and steadily stepped forward. 5,000 orders, he also went to the eternal change. There he learned something shocking. The origin of the defect. His origin turned out to be flawed. In the 4 great secret realms, many superpowers have this recognition. Because they can no longer improve, they will doubt themselves. Like the Turtle Island Lord, he hasn't reached the true peak among the emperors, and obviously doesn't have this knowledge. Now that I understand, there are disappointments and surprises. What is happy is that there are secret methods in the eternal changes that can help him restore his original source. Jian Wushuang's origin has no flaws, and he doesn't understand them. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 54:31. Seeing that the other party has been immersed in it, he did not say hello, and continued to move forward. Soul Road Secret Method. This secret method is given to them for free, and it is also considered the strongest secret method, but the complete secret method that you want to obtain is estimated to be finished. After reaching the 8,000 floor, Jian Wushuang found that he could see the scene outside the 800 level. 9,000 floors is 900 steps. Thousands of layers are 1,000. He didn't know whether this was related to the soul secret method or the soul realm. 9,999 floors. 7 emperors stopped here. These 7 people are all powerhouses in the Yuan Laro Palace. There are Situ Nan at the 6th order peak, and there are some emperors at the 5th order peak. From ancient times to the present, their realm may not be high, but in their souls, they are much stronger than their inheritors. I just don't know why I stopped here. Said it was stronger than the inheritor, but with the shadow of the inheritor, he also saw Wn Xing alone, and Wn Xing had been behind him, not much weaker than him. The soul is stronger than the inheritor, but the speed of comprehending the secret method is not as fast as the inheritor. This is an indisputable fact, otherwise why would the real spirit cultivate them? After digging out a universe, these inheritors were selected, and among the inheritors who entered this place, the weakest 10,000 stars were able to rank in the top 1,000 among the inheritors. Is stronger than some ultimate ways. Not all ultimate beings will become Taoists or emperors against the sky. There are some inheritors who have mastered the ultimate way. Now they are not even Dao Jun, they are stuck in the 5th and 6th level, and they can't improve. Is also the first batch of ultimate existences. The cultivation has been accumulated for too long, and then it exploded after encountering the Temple of Forbidden God. Each became a Taoist monarch, and then began to seek breakthroughs. But even for this group of people, there are not many who can practice the ultimate path to consummation. At present, it seems that Hua Qing has succeeded in the harmony alone with a satisfactory attitude. Jian Wushuang is a group of people who have mastered the ultimate way very early, And now the 8th level is also the first group. Ji Dao has no bottlenecks. Once he masters the realm of the black hole, he can quickly reach consummation. He Dao is also coming soon. But he has not made any preparations for He Dao. This time, let's see if we can make some profit from this place. Prepare for He Dao. When Hua Qing joined the Dao, he was looking at it. There are so many treasures and a glimpse of the power contained in the spirit spring. I am afraid that every 100 billion cubic meters of sacred stone cannot be obtained. This is not a star, but a square. After scouring Tiannan clean, he couldn't get so many sacred stones. This was just a glimpse of Lingquan, and there were many treasures that he couldn't see. The most important thing is the sight. The place is very lucky, and it is probably the habitat of a universe lord. He is not lucky enough to enjoy this kind of place with good time and place. Originally thought that True Spirit would also prefer him, but because of Quemen's affairs, it was considered good if he was not removed, and he did not dare to ask for it. After stepping on the 9999 floor, Zhen Wushuang realized why so many powerful people are trapped here. This place is really extraordinary. The secret method of the soul is not difficult. It took him a month to comprehend and understand, but the next chess game stumped him. In the original space, an illusory figure appeared. This person's complexion is blood red, his hair is messy, and he wears a black robe embroidered with golden runes. He is a little fat, uncut, and his eyes are like copper bells. This made Zhen Wushuang think of the Hades in the mundane world. Ordinary people will really be shocked when they see it. Hey, kid, let's accompany the old man in the next game. The entire space turns into a chessboard, and the two face each other far away. War chess. Zhen Wushuang groaned for a while, first respectfully see you, and then began to think. He understood the rules of the game through description, but he didn't have the skills. War chess, there are no pieces. All the chess pieces are condensed in space. Zhen Wushuang learned that the opposite person condensed a chess piece, which is a wooden path. Wood road, the spirit of heaven and earth. The spiritual root of the 5 elements. It's a good game, but it's a problem to fall there. Fortunately, he has the Ji Dao and knows where the wood Dao origin is to be used. Mizuki. Zhen Wushuang placed a piece, and landed the wooden chess piece on the border of the 2 on the chessboard, where there is a natural river. The old man Yang Wang brightened his eyes and said with joy, "Little guy, interesting." The he had just condensed had been held in his hand. Zhen Wushuang didn't even know what it was. Snapped. Guangdao chess pieces. Landed on the darkest corner of the chessboard, where Zhen Wushuang's chassis was originally, illuminating half of the chessboard in an instant. Zhen Wushuang also learned a lot, but he found that every time the opponent countered. After pondering for a while, Zhen Wushuang shook it in the void, and 2 chess pieces appeared in his hand. First, he played a Lei Dao origin and placed it on the edge of the opponent's light Dao chess piece. The lightning flashed and the sky was dark. Yep. The old man of Yama was a little surprised, and he couldn't tell for a while. After thinking for a while, he grabbed a piece from the original space and gathered a chess piece. Yang Dao origin. The light path cooperates with the sun path, forming a hot star. Can this happen? Zhen Wushuang was stunned. Can you play like this? Around this point, Zhen Wushuang started a long way to crack. Raiden cultivates electric roads and forms the world of thunder and lightning. The opponent is adding chips, and he is constantly investing. Dark road, thunder road, electric road, rain road, wind road. Eventually condensed the destruction Dao, and once again evolved into a black hole. Zhen Wushuang's road widened. No matter how big the light is, where can I go? Zhen Wushuang leaked joy. Is going to win. But right here, the old man Hades leaked a smile. The little guy in front of him is definitely very interesting, and he is not ready to release the water. Most of the people who had passed by came to this point and won. Zhen Wushuang doesn't know. Snapped. Fell in one go. There are 9 planets around the hot stars, and a river is formed around them. This. Zhen Wushuang was dumbfounded. He didn't even understand the black hole, but the other party crossed the universe and directly opened up a long river of time and space. How can I play this? He never thought that it would be like this, and he began to doubt himself. Other people can pass, why can't I get to him? I lost. Jian Wushuang shook his head, a little lonely. The old man Yang Wang was very happy, and smiled lightly. Little guy, don't worry, let's continue. Just like that, in this space, Jian Wushuang was trapped by the opponent, but he finally got free after many years. From the black hole in the first game to the black hole engulfing the universe in the back, it really made him understand the complex structure of the universe. But it is not easy for the universe to win against each other, and Jian Wushuang walks wider behind. At first, he didn't pay attention to one city and one place. Instead, he first drew a line, opened the world with one line, and drew a starry sky before he defeated the opponent head-on. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5432. The moment the old man Hades lost, he was stunned. There was no unwillingness after failure in his eyes, but aftertaste. You won. The old man of Yama took away the space, and the figure disappeared. Left a sentence before leaving. The old man sent you a sentence: go on your own way and don't doubt yourself, because you defeated a once remarkable existence today, and you are proud to go on. Jian Wushuang is a little puzzled. What does it mean to win in chess? When he leaves this space, he realizes it is instant enlightenment. Because of the insights when playing chess, all realized became a fact. He really understood everything that followed. At least the realm of the black hole is not as blurred as it once was. The Dharma body of the deep black hole shuttles faster, the realm is constantly rising, and the reefs in the Sea of Origin are also shattered one by one. In this game, Jian Wushuang is probably the one who has received the most. Because the old man of Hades would release water, he almost let others pass. When I arrived at Jian Wushuang, I thought Jian Wushuang was a bit interesting, so I was immersed in it, but he didn't expect that he would really win in the end. Who? Jian Wushuang took the last step and reached the 10,000th order. There is no one in the place he sees now, and he doesn't know how long he has been stuck here. After reaching the 10th rank, his figure disappeared again. Change through the ages. Jian Wushuang didn't understand the meaning, he guessed that it should be related to change Dao. After arriving at the familiar hall, the huge alien beast head said again, "Practitioner, choose the method." This time he didn't waste time and went straight to the highest point. On more than 10 thrones, there are jade scrolls instead of jade slips. Looks different from those geniuses. Jian Wushuang walked directly to the main position and took down the scroll. The 3 eye-catching characters eternal change at the top is the same as the name of the hall. It was so easy to get the strongest secret of this hall, Jian Wushuang couldn't believe it. Eternal changes. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes. As he thought, it was not that simple. The eternal transformation here is only the Hinayana mystery. Tianjun can practice. Is not a treasured secret. Has changed through the ages, and what it contains is almost the same as the name. The Hinayana realm can reach the level of eternal change, allowing the divine body or the origin to change. After the change, of course it is an increase. In the early stage of Theravada, there are still ancient changes and first changes. The first change is an increase of 10%, the ancient change is an increase of 10 times, and the eternal change is 100 times. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang is overjoyed. His current divine body has beasts and divine weapons that can be augmented. The origin has the power of all things, and there is no need for augmentation, but there are methods for augmentation, and he will not be stingy. Once the power of everything increases, he can't imagine how strong it will be. Did not come in vain. Jian Wushuang rejoiced. Seeing Jian Wushuang set the stage for eternal change, the head of the strange beast said, "Have you chosen?" "You have chosen." Jian Wushuang nodded. The head of the alien beast that had no emotion at all reminded a little unexpectedly, "You have to think about it. The secret method above this can be cultivated to the realm of Mahayana. Although it has become stronger through the ages, it can be cultivated. The Hinayana realm. The younger generation now lacks the secret method of eternal change, and don't consider other things. Jian Wushuang shook his head, very firm. What he wants is not what suits him, but what he lacks. There are many more suitable for him, but those suitable are just icing on the cake, and cannot improve much. Not as good as the most lacking. Moreover, with such secrets as the eternal change, I am afraid that he will be able to increase himself even as an emperor. The Hinayana realm, enough for him to use the emperor, he doesn't have too many extravagances. There will be better ones in the future. You can leave now. After was swallowed by the head of the alien animal again, 2 paths appeared in front of Jian Wufang. There is also a list above. Soul Dao Inheritance, 1st, Tongtian Buddha 2nd, Zhen Wuyang 3rd, Hua Qing, Jiang Shong, 4th, Sichunan 5th, Guiling Island Lord 9th, Gong Miaoi Inheritance of Change Path, 1st, Broly 2nd, Kai Shui Walker 3rd, the 10,000 Star Emperor 7th, Emperor Tianchan. There are 16 strong players in total. 9 of them chose the Soul Dao Inheritance, and the other 7 took the Change Dao. Change the combat power pursued by the Dao, while the Soul Dao is more stable, forging the foundation and broadening the horizon. The powerhouses who choose Soul Dao have almost enough combat power and want to go further. Zhen Wuyang, Tongtian Buddha, and Guiling Island Lord are very consistent. Especially the Guiling Island Master, the picture is bigger. If you want to break through and reach the top, you must accumulate slowly. If Jian Wushuang chooses these 2 ways, he will also choose Soul Dao Inheritance. The first step is the Soul Dao Ladder. Jian Wushuang really wants to walk through it all the time and obtain the complete Soul Dao secret technique. You have a choice, I don't have a choice. Jian Wushuang shook his head helplessly, then his body changed for a while and he turned into 2 people directly. Clone. Anyone can conceive a clone, but the clone of the emperor is the Dharmakaya, so there is power in nothing. Jian Wushuang is different. He can not only divide the body, but also divide the origin. His original Dao and his physical body have been refined 10 times, and they have been thoroughly integrated. With his current source strength, it can be divided into several clones that are similar in strength to the deity. It's just that the clone hasn't cultivated the unique knowledge, and it still lacks the powerful treasure, and its strength is a bit weak. If there is no beast weapon and heavenly magic power, he will have the fighting power of a 4th-order emperor. Too many points are useless. After becoming an emperor, it's different. When the time comes, any source clone will have the power of a 6th-order emperor. At that time, he was truly terrifying. One person can be transformed into a group of 6th-order emperors, which is much stronger than the clone of the mountain monarch. 2 inheritance channels, he wants them all. Choose. That is reserved for the weak. 2 figures entered the passage together. The rankings that can be seen on the channel have also changed. The last one is the name of Jian Wushuang. After went in, Yukanshu. Jian Wushuang found one thing, he exposed it. I can't change it. But it's nothing, it's exposed. In the passage of the Soul Dao Inheritance, Hua Qing, who was ranked 3rd, was still walking hard. When he was breathing, he glanced at the Rao and was stunned. Jian Wushuang. Hua Qing suddenly turned her head and whispered in a low voice, Brother Wushuang? He was overjoyed. Ever since he met Jian Wushuang in the black hole, he was determined that Jian Wushuang was still alive. He didn't expect to encounter him here. Must have also come in from that black hole. After seeing the name, Jiang Shong, who was standing next to him, had a fear from the bottom of his heart, and even his original spirit was trembling. He eats kids. Some clumsy grass and wood spirits originally lay on Jiang Shong's shoulder and screamed into sleep. After seeing Jian Wushuang's name, he exclaimed and hid directly into Jiang Shong's body. Hua Qing didn't have too many accidents, but Jiang Shong became vigilant. After entering this passage, the disguise on Jian Wushuang was gone, and now it was a naked soul floating. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5433, The Power of All Things, the Power of Devouring, the Power of Mind. The 3 surround the whole body. Fortunately, the power of all things is the power of heaven and earth. Devouring is not the case, not only the destruction in the black hole, but also the evil aura that swallows all sentient beings. Compared with others, the mind power of the mind is stronger. These are enough to scare ordinary practitioners. Tongtian Buddha and Zhen Wuyang walking in the front also saw Jian Wushuang's name. Fortunately, Tongtian Buddha didn't know much about Jian Wushuang. Zhen Wuyang was very happy. Jian Wushuang explained here that he was still alive, and this time he brought Jian Wushuang back to the Tomb Mountain. Sichu Nan from the Yuan Palace was overjoyed. When he came, he received the notice from above that he would encounter the missing Jian Wushuang here, and asked him to give Jian Wushuang a piece of jade slip. After coming in for so long, he has not found Jian Wushuang. He thought Jian Wushuang had fallen, but he did not expect to hide so deeply. There is one other person besides Jian Wushuang, Broly. The former is an order from the real spirit, and the latter is a death order from the bottom of Wu Zhuo. The county magistrate is not as good as the current one. When he came, Broly was the first to look for, and he kept staring secretly after he found it. Broly's matter, Wu Zhuo has been concealing and not telling the public. The notice to Sichu Nan is also a simple description, looking for this person in the land boundary. I didn't expect to meet here, and he was lucky, and now he found Jian Wushuang again. It can be said that it was a double happiness. This time I went back and had a relationship. But Wu Zhuo's request is even greater. A practitioner who changes the way, or an indigenous emperor in the 4 great secret realms, once handed over to the true spirit, it will be a great contribution. I am afraid that the Senator Palace will also make an exception. Up. Jian Wushuang didn't know that his appearance would surprise so many people. The passage of Soul Dao inheritance is the same as when it came, no surprise. There are some novelties in the change road. He will change away without stepping up a step. Has mastered the origin of all things, he walks the fastest, probably much faster than Broly. There are still very few steps in the change road, a total of 10,000 steps. Jian Wushuang walked 100 steps in a quarter of an hour, surpassing the last one. The speed behind is even more unabated, rushing forward all the time. Soon reached the top 3, surpassing Kaishui Walker. Chishui's heart was shocked. The person in front of him was familiar, but he didn't seem to have seen it here. After entering the temple of Chishan, he encountered too many things and people, and he couldn't remember it for a while. The tens of millions of practitioners in the Kaishui temple at the beginning were familiar with them, and they were pretty good, and many of them were selectively forgotten. So I didn't care too much, and kept walking forward. Jian Wushuang walked fast enough here, but still couldn't see Broly's shadow. He can see the first 2,000 stone steps clearly now, and there are 4,000 steps after he left, but he still can't see Broly. The opponent has at least reached 6,000 steps. In other words, the other party has transformed 6,000 origins. This is also terrible. He said the past of all things, illusion of all things. Why the other party? Is it true that the change is so against the sky? After thinking about it, he understood a little bit. When the old man with horns looked back to find someone, he was probably looking for Broly. Can make the old horned man go back desperately, either under Wu Zhuo's order, or under the real spirit's order. If it is true spirit, I am afraid I will go in person. High probability is still Wu Zhuo's command. Can make the disciples of Chishan care so much. I am afraid that change is stronger than he imagined. One of the kings in the Hall of 3 Kings is the change path of cultivation, which is enough to explain the problem. Practicing the Tao of change, and being able to reach the level of the 3 kings, one can imagine the speciality of the Tao of change. This passage, I am afraid that Broly is the most suitable, and I am afraid that he will be taken away by the Senate after going out. Jian Wushuang continued to move forward. The changes in his body were obvious every time. From the simplest ordinary road to the extremely complex synthetic origin. For example, water and fire are one, forming a yin and yang. Or they have reached the limit of destruction, and their body has turned into a black hole. Every time after the transformation, Jian Wushuang carefully experienced the mystery. There is only one thing, and one can transform everything. Among the mysteries, Jian Wushuang needs to be solved one by one, and repeated to understand. In cultivation, he must be foolproof. Jidao's promotion, That's what is needed. One must understand the rules in all things. All things, all things. Jian Wushuang thought of the mystery of myriad tribulations that Xuani once gave him. I didn't feel that much when I read it at first, but now he continues to walk down, but he finds that the disaster in all things is more than that simple. Every road comes to an end, there is disaster. Is like the causal killing in him. He really killed a lot of people when the devouring power was at its strongest. The evil karma on his body was very strong, which affected his luck, and he needed to resolve it. Is resolved before joining the Tao and transformed into Qi luck. Otherwise, this is really a killing. Compared with the change road, the soul road walks more smoothly. The path of the soul road is a secret law against the sky. Every level is comprehending one of the links. As long as the comprehension understands, you can go on forever. 2 ways, 1 soul way, and 1 change way. The 3 kings court should be 3 kings, why there are only 2 ways? Jian Wushuang was a little puzzled. He still remembers the red-faced old man. Chess pieces. That special memory made Jian Wushuang some understand. On a special chessboard, he merged everything and finally won the old man. From the chessboard, he has a new understanding of everything. Compared with these 2 passages, the chessboard may have improved him more. 3 kings. Jian Wushuang would not be willing to ask for 1, but to walk the limit of 3 paths. Only in this way can we get the true core inheritance of the 3 kings court. How long? Since entering the great wilderness, every time he passed on, he was crushed by others, and he almost lost his confidence. This time the inheritance of the 3 kings court, no matter what he will get it. He Dao has a vague cognition, but nothing has been prepared yet. He needs the opportunity here to help him reach the limit, and then join the road. The 3 kings court was also the pinnacle power in ancient times, not much weaker than Chishan Temple. How can a person who dare to fight against the gods be an ordinary strong person? Each of the 2 roads moved forward, and Jian Wushuang continued to surpass. On the soul road, even catching up with Zhen Wuyang. When the 2 passed by, they just nodded and didn't talk too much. Now that the identity has been recognized, there is no need to hide it. Zhen Wuyang looked at Jian Wushuang's back, feeling a little uncomfortable in his heart. The Yangxian who was exiled by him in the wilderness has grown to this point now. In the enlightenment of Soul Dao secret law, he even surpassed him. Yep. The ranking on the wall suddenly changed. The Emperor Tian Chan was moved away. Jian Wushuang was also a little surprised. He originally thought that he could go on walking if he had time, but now it seems that he understood it wrongly and still has a request. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 54-34. Heaven Toad Emperor was on the path of change. He was even removed. Obviously it was impossible to reach the end. The bigger reason was that it took too long and his intelligibility was removed. Jian Wushuang on the 2 passages began to reduce time and seek faster speed. Especially on the soul road. Didn't go up 1 floor, he received a lot of goods, and if it was removed, he would lose a lot. Soon, someone was moved away again. The 6th Order Emperor on the side of the Guiling Island Lord, except for the Guiling Island Lord, have all been removed. Followed by some 5th Order Emperors in the Yuan Laro Palace. On the Soul Road ladder, Jian Wushuang has already walked 20,000 steps. On the Change Road, he also walked 8,000 steps. But I still didn't see Broly. Is probably over. Mastering the path of change, it's not difficult to finish 10,000 steps. Jian Wushuang can finish everything by mastering everything, let alone Broly who specializes in change. The key is still the soul. After 20,000 steps, I finally saw the backs of Huiqing and Jiang Shong. Looking from behind, the 2 walked side by side. Step by step, the pace is steady, obviously not reaching the limit. Depending on the location, it should be around 27,000 steps. Now that he hasn't seen the Tongtian Buddha, it is very likely that the other party has passed the 30,000 stairs. Change Dao has 10,000 steps, and it is not clear how many step Sword Wushuang there are in Soul Dao. At least now, He hasn't even seen the first position. Tongtian Buddha, who walked the Tongtian Avenue, could surpass them so much. Jian Wushuang was still a little surprised. Jian Wushuang would not think so if he knew the inheritance of the Tongtian Buddha. This is also the reason why Zhen Wuyang and Kai Shui don't care. Tongtian Buddha was on the Tomb Mountain and received a cosmic secret inheritance. The soul has been promoted. Even the soul mark was embedded in the origin of the Lord of the Universe, to experience the power of the Lord of the Universe. This kind of opportunity has naturally benefited the Tongtian Buddha infinitely, surpassing Zhen Wuyang and others in one fell swoop. This time by chance, he is one of the most capable people. Broly, needless to say, the special source Tao, which is rarer than the ultimate Tao, is a great luck to be able to go to the Three Kings' court. Is the emperor who is most hopeful of inheriting the King of Change. There is no one, and Jian Wushuang has little hope of competing with him. Other people are even more hopeless. On the Soul Road, Tongtian Buddha is the #1 seed. Hyeking and Jiang Shong are the rest. Jian Wushuang looked at the back of the two, and suddenly felt that Jiang Shong had an inexplicable attraction. Very powerful. That power does not seem to belong to her. This person, he remembers. I saw it once when I was at the blood sacrifice of Chaos Territory, but I didn't expect it to be an emperor now. Was just a mortal back then. Not many years have passed. Only a few thousand years, from a mortal to an emperor. This is a bit exaggerated. At that time, he was comparable to the Third Order Emperor, and now he is comparable to the Fourth Order Peak. With all the means used, he can also fight the Fifth Order Emperor. Compared with the other party, it doesn't seem to be against the sky. Thousands of years have entered the Emperor from the commonplace. He has never even heard of it. The reason why he was able to climb so many levels was because of the power of Jidao. He had realized the origin of space in advance, and he had gone a long way. Second, it is because of the magical beasts and demons' unique knowledge. Raised his divine body to the limit of Dao Jun, able to fight against the Fifth Order Emperor. Otherwise, it won't be so against the sky to fight the Fifth Order Emperor. Jian Wushuang brows slightly, and I don't know when Zhen Wuyang actually caught up with him again. The two didn't pull apart too much, and they kept maintaining about 200 steps. Is now less than 10 orders different. He didn't dare to think any more. He went to the limit to comprehend the secret method and move forward with all his strength. Immerse yourself in it, and time will flow faster. In a blink of an eye, 100,000 years. 100,000 years have passed since they entered the palace of the Three Kings. In the 50,000th year, Broly was the first to pass through the path of change and completed the 10,000 steps. In the first 10,000 years, Jian Wushuang also finished 10,000 steps. It's just that when he finished walking, there was no one behind him, and they were all moved away. After walking the 10,000 steps, the appearance of the summit was different from what he had imagined. Summit. There is only one void step, and one person sits cross-legged on top. When Jian Wushuang looked at the opponent, he saw a woman, but in the blink of an eye, the opponent turned into an old man. The face of the other party changes with his thoughts. He will appear what he wants, even when he sees that the other person is Shen Yi. Shook his head, Jian Wushuang awoke for a while and there was no figure on the steps. Snapped. Take one step forward. Has entered the 10,001st order. Everything changes. At this level, he realized what it means to be against the sky. After completing the 10,000 steps, he felt that he had grasped the essence of change, but after stepping into this step, he felt that the 10,000 steps ahead were gone. The secret method of eternal transformation is at this moment stepping into the limit. Jian Wushuang took a long breath, his whole body changed, and he roared eternal change, hum. All his precious treasures are in this body. The beast warrior exploded its power, Candle Dragon's wings opened and closed, slightly raised his arm, Jian Wushuang suddenly clenched his fist, and the dark red skin of Candle Dragon's arm burst. Through the ages, the increase is the origin. His origin is very strong originally. This increase directly makes his divine body a little unable to support it. Hurriedly urged the beast magical weapon to more than 30,000 times the body before barely supporting it. Now his origin has the power of half a black hole. is surrounded by countless stars. More than 30,000 times can support the origin. You need to know that the Fifth Order Emperor's divine body only has more than 30,000 points, and he can support his origin at will. His divine body is more than 30,000 times, and even the origin of Dao Jun is about to burst the divine body. It's worth it. However, the stronger the better. No one will dislike the secret method is too strong. If there is too weak to support the secret method. He hasn't used the heavenly demon art yet. Once he uses the heavenly demon art, he can reach more than 40,000 times the divine body, which is enough for him to use the eternal transformation. Originally thought it would be difficult to cultivate, but he didn't expect that after reaching this step, he could directly enter the Hinayana realm, and it would directly become eternal transformation. Reached the Hinayana realm. Waiting for any reaction from him, his figure disappeared on the steps and was removed. Changed the way and cleared the level. There was only a flash before his eyes, and he arrived in a brightly lit hall. Many people gathered here at this time. But the only thing I am familiar with is the 10,000 Star Emperor. The rest are the Fifth Order Emperors who can't make it through the chess game, and of course the Sixth Order Emperors on the side of the Turtle Island Master. Kaishui Walker is also here. Jian Wushuang is now restored to his true appearance. Anyway, he is from the East Universe, so he still has to say hello. It's been a long time since I heard that you were killed in the heavens, I thought. https://mobile version reading URL. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.